I'm not Morgan Freeman. But this is the CovrPrice Top 10 for May 13th, 2024.
At number 10, it's Deadpool and Wolverine, World War III, number 1, Gabriel Delato. Surprise, one per store. Deadpool and Wolverine are two of the most popular characters in comics right now, and this book has a ton of stuff going for it. It is a key introducing a new villain. It has an amazing cover. It's been illustrated by popular artist Gabriela Delato, and it's a secret variant given to retailers as a surprise and limited to one per store. We tracked it at a high sale of $150 for a CGC 9.8 with a current raw near-mint FMV of $27. At number 9, Spider-Woman 7 Marvel 2024. Last week, 3 of the variants for this book made the top 10. Todd Nauck's cover was reigning supreme, but this week we see Yu's cover holding strong whilst the other variants have fallen off. Fans are still chasing down the first appearance of the Assembly and this amazing Yu cover. We tracked it at a high sale of $31 for a raw near-mint copy with a current raw near-mint FMV of $12. Number 8, XMen 97 number 1 Marvel 2020-2024. This book was going to be popular. I said it right that time. There's no doubt about it. The animated X-Men 97 series has been wildly popular, and those fans had their eyes on this book when it launched it. We tracked it at a high sale of $90 for a CGC 9.8 with the current raw near-mint FMV of 18 American bucks. Number 7, Blood Hunt, Red Band Edish. Number 1, Elenial Francis Yu, Crime Suspense Stories number 22, Homage, Marvel 2024. This book has been on a wild ride, to say the least. When it debuted, it quickly soared in price, hitting $200 by the end of the first week. But this past week, the hunt continues as collectors are still picking up tons of copies, despite the price hike in FMV. We tracked it at a high sale of $600, that's right, $600 for a CGC 9.8 with a current raw near-mint FMV of $208. Number 6, Revival number 1, Image 2012. Revival joins the speculation books this week with Sci-Fi recently announcing that they are adapting the series into a TV series that is expected to launch sometime in 2025. A story about the reanimated dead, where the revived is about the dead coming back to life into their original state, plays out like a crime thriller when a sudden murder causes everyone to be a suspect. We tracked it at a high sale of $20 for a raw near-mint copy with a current raw near-mint FMV of $19. Number 5, Evangeline number 1, Maximum Press 1995. Evangeline is the next book on the speculation list. Back in April, it was announced that Olivia Wilde would be directing an adaptation of the series produced by the British-American media company Lucky Chap. I believe Lucky Chap is Margot Robbie's company, so needless to say, the project has a lot of star power behind it and the hype is prevalent. We tracked it at a high sale of $22 for a raw near-mint copy with a current raw near-mint FMV of $14. At lucky number 4, The New Mutants 98 Marvel 1991. The closer we get to the debut of Deadpool and Wolverine, the more sales we are going to see. And so this book is ramping up again, generating tons of heat as we get closer to the release date of the highly anticipated MCU film. There's really not much else to say other than, have you secured your first appearance of the Merc with a Mouth? And of course, we all have by now, but somebody's still buying it. And so we've tracked it at a high sale of $1,175 for a raw copy with a current raw near-mint FMV of $352. You know, I think that first price is for a 9.8, but maybe not. At number 3, Wolverine 75, Marvel 1993. And this is a huge spoiler alert for X-Men 97, so stop listening if you don't want to be spoiled. After the events in the last episode, Wolverine's future is uncertain. However, this show has been full of twists and turns, keeping the audience on the edges of their seats. One thing is certain, Wolverine will debut his bone claws for the first time in the animated series. We tracked it at a high sale of $95 for a CGC 9.8 with a current raw near-mint FMV of $16. Number 2, X-Men 25, Marvel 1993. By the way, this is another huge spoiler alert for X-Men 97, so stop listening. There's no way to talk about this book without spoiling the latest episode, which is nearly an exact replica of poor Wolverine's tragic event. In the culmination of the episode, we see Magneto reach the end of his patience with Wolverine. He does the unthinkable and rips the adamantium straight from Wolverine's bones. We tracked it at a high sale of $115 for a CGC 9.8 with a current raw near-mint FMV of $22. And you know what's coming for number 1. Number 1 is X-Men 53, Marvel 1996, and guess what? Huge spoiler alert for X-Men 97. This past episode of X-Men 97 was mind-blowing and surprising. It was brutal and chilling, ripped directly from the pages of the comics. All books related to this event have received a bump in interest and price. Many believe that Professor Xavier will respond to Magneto's horrific act in the same way it was done in the comic books, and if so, this response will result in the birth of the Titanic villain Onslaught. We tracked it at a high sale of $128 for a CGC 9.8 with a current raw Nearman FMV of $9. And that is your Cover Price Top 10 for May 13th, 2024.
CovrPrice, your home online for comic collectors.